This is Old Geelong Gaol, also known as the Prison of the Ill. Although it's not reported exactly how many prisoners died here, it's said to be thousands. Opening in 1853, it's known as one of the most haunted prisons in Australia. It's basically one big dungeon with tiny cells, no toilets, freezing conditions, and it housed the most notorious convicts, murderers, rapists, and lunatics.
The little hook on the end would pull all of your organs with it. The 6 months of hell that we had.
And it's the scene of 5 brutal executions by hanging.
Walk into a room and the door slams behind us, I will tear up. Not like crying, like having a breakdown cry, but I'll start getting water in my eyes.
I thought you were going to be brave.
I was. Even Sam Colby sometimes can cry when stuff like that.
Yeah. So we are sitting out the front of one of the most haunted places in Victoria. It's the Geelong Gaol. Tilly is scared. We drive past this place twice a day. She's been too scared to come.
Do you guys like dumplings? Mum loves them. Mum's obsessed with them.
Then there's going to be like demons and bad stuff coming, like to enter your party.
Tilly went on to spend the next 45 minutes explaining to me how ghosts actually work. And then it was time for the ghost tour.
I don't want it to look like that.
Mum, stop.
At that time, you would get a bucket on one side of the room for your toilet, which you shared with upwards of 6 men. And on the other side of the room, you have your bucket for water. Do not get them mixed up. They will not be changed until morning. And prisoner 6, you are to be at the back of the group, shining your light at all times. So if I say prisoner 6, you raise your lantern so that I can see that you're there. Do you understand?
Tilly did not understand the assignment and chickened out. As soon as we walked through the doors, Alice already had a story for us about one of the prisoners who killed a heap of other convicts.
We found a ship with a hook on it. And in the files, we found that there was an ending. And he would stick it in your guts, and he would rip it out of your body. And when he did that, the little hook on the end would pull all of your organs with it.
Throughout the tour, the sun had started to set, and I tell you, being on the lower floor was so creepy, especially with the stories.
Common apparitions is that of James Ross. I've seen running here and then running in. You cannot get in, and you cannot get out of that cell.
Okay.
You are now in the second hospital. We call it the second hospital because we had the first. Now,
This room here that we're in upstairs is the second hospital. They made it into a hospital because it was a bit of a bigger room. It would house about 12 patients, which were men. One of the men in here had some sort of disease that he lost all his legs, and he would refuse any help, and he would drag himself along this floor to go to the toilet every day, scratching all his skin off. Like, how terrible.
the tack would have dragged his body to the toilet every single day. He loves blondes. Now, we don't know why, but he loves caressing your faces, and he loves playing with your hair. I also say don't sit on the floor. Tack loves to keep people down with him. We have a lot of women and men alike who have sat down in this room, have to hoist a woman up from the floor with much resistance because Tack wanted to keep her with him. So don't sit on the floor. If you're blonde, don't go down that end. And also, please just get medical intervention if you need it.
Uh-oh.
That will ring for your 2 hours out of your room.
We were then taken into this double room, which apparently used to lead to a church. It's all been boarded up now, but where she's pointing there is where a ghost used to go through, and they constantly see it just walk into the wall, because I believe the ghost thought it was going to the church.
The 6 months of hell that we had, when a medium came through and decided to open a bunch of portals. She opened over 100, trying to send the ghosts home. This created hell, and we had 6 staff members leave. We had heart attacks and faintings from customers, and we had to shut down certain parts of the building. But one of them is in that corner, and we regularly have people pass out in that corner.
We were then taken to where the gallows are. This is where 5 men were hanged. 3 of them were actually publicly hanged, just meters away from the public entrance. And apparently hundreds of people would come and watch.
We would hang you. The crowd would watch and cheer. It wasn't until George Melville.
Then we heard this story about George Melville, who wasn't weighed properly. And when he was actually dropped from the gallows, his head became separated from his body. That was around about the time when they stopped public hangings and normal hangings as a matter of fact. The last one here in Geelong was in 1865. The last one in Australia was 1967. I've got another video coming out about these hangings and the stories that go along with it. So subscribe and press the notifications and you'll know about it when it comes out.
The thing about that is, his wife came to get the body. And you can imagine she was quite upset at the state of her husband. She takes him home, and instead of burying him, she puts him in a rocking chair in the front of a fish and chip shop on Tilburg Street and charges 1 shilling to come and see the dead body of George Melville. I know, it's about $9.93 today.
I thought that was the peak of how scared I was going to get. That was until we got taken to the actual hospital, which is huge, has all the original beds in it as well. And this is where Tilly saw her first ghost. And she was shaking, she was crying. We had to actually take her away from the tour because she was white as a ghost.
I don't know about you, but seeing a dead body doesn't make me feel too happy. Especially if it's your cousin. This is the crew room.
Oh, here we go. Look, it's nice and bright in
Take
here.
a seat, darling.
Fortunately, Alice is actually a trained nurse and she knew exactly what to do, which was to calm Tilly down. And she gave her a nice little cup of peach tea, and it seemed to work wonders.
She does better than myself. This is the trust team. Yeah. It's okay. You guys can stay here.
This is where we were explained that this area here had actually been blessed. So they feel that there was no way that any ghosts or spirits would get to you here, and offered to allow us to stay in here on our own while they finished the tour, which of course we were not going to do because we were terrified. Bravely, Tilly went back down and along with me down to the kitchen where we were told this story about one of the staff members actually had a ghost pull on their dress and grab their legs. They ran out of there, leaving all the people that were on the tour, and actually reported it to the police until they bring up the CCTV, you know, the videos, and it actually showed that her dress moved and there was no one there.
She was like bat out of hell. She was gone. She left everyone in this room, and it took them 15 minutes to realise it wasn't a gag. She said, I'm out, I'm never coming back. She ended up reporting it to the police. We have cameras. There was nothing there, but we saw the fabric doing its thing.
There's a fair bit of stuff that I cut out because I didn't want the video to be too long, and there's a few more things that I'd like to share with you about the hangings and some of the stories that people have shared with me on TikTok about this place and some of their experiences. So if you'd like to watch my next video, I'll have that coming out shortly. If I have already made it, it'll be on the screen somewhere now and you can watch that next.
Well, I saw a foot underneath the bed in the hospital, so that was great.
Oh, it smells like dumplings in here. What do you reckon? You cried?
Go there. I cried so much.
Are you happy you did that?
Yep, that was fun.
Are you going to be like, okay to sleep in your room on your own?
No. Saw a foot underneath the bed. What do you think, Mum? So, and it was just a foot, It looked like there was another one behind it too. It's just I could see, it was like, see cat!